Welcome back to Charlie Survival. In this video we're going to be pitting the Poundland survival kit that I made in the previous video to the test. I'm going to be unboxing everything, pitting it all into one kit and going out into the wilderness and surviving for 24 hours. We're not allowed to use anything else apart from the items in this kit. So without further ado, let's pit the kit together. So like I said in the previous video, I want it all to fit in this little tin. So what this is a cook pan with 2 plates. So firstly, let's unbox the knife that we got. Now, this is the Hanon heavy duty utility knife. Wow, that feels quite nice in the hand. Has it got a blade in there already? Yes. Okay, so it already has a blade in there. And the precision blade on the end, you press the button and it actually comes right out. And that can come in useful as well. Will that fit in the tin? No, it's a little bit... Sounds like there's blades. Ah. There is. There's 2 extra blades as well. That's quite a cool design. They just fit in the handle. There's also a lanyard hoop on it, and the top slider makes it lock into a different length, so you can have it short for opening boxes or something like that, medium, and then full length. I just noticed as well there's a little groove. I think that's for cutting wire, but you could get some small shavings off of twigs using just that little cutout, I feel like. So I'm going to put that in my pocket. Now we also got some bottled water that I'm actually going to have right now because it's currently like 25 degrees and tonight it's getting down to 17, which is very hot, so it's going to be a mild night tonight. So I think we chose the right night to do this test. So that's half the still water gone, but there is a river here, so we could boil up some water if we need to. So starting off, I'm actually going to put all 4 of these carabiners in the tin. I can use a knife to cut that open and then put those 4 in. Let's put the Vaseline in there as well. And the cutlery set. Let's actually get this out of the box and put that in. Now unfortunately the knife doesn't fit in there, but we've already got the knife in my pocket, so we might leave that out. Then let's put in some of that string. We don't need this whole string. I mean, even though it does fit in there, it's going to be a bit cramped once we get everything in there. Now I'm actually going to get my knife and I'm going to put the string through the lanyard holder, and I'm just going to tie a knot and then just wrap that around the handle. Not only does it give it more grip, but it just keeps the string in one place and nice and neat. Okay, I think that should be enough, and I wonder if we can actually cut the string with the notch in the knife. Okay, let's give it a go. First test of it. Yes, easy. And then I'm gonna finish it off by just tying a little knot, and there we go. All of that yarn is now on the knife and that can go in our pocket, and it actually gives a really nice grip to the knife as well. Now let's move on to the candles. I reckon we should put 3 of those in the pack. They do smell pretty nice. And there we go, 3 of those should be absolutely fine. Now let's put in some cotton wool balls. Now what's cool about this is it actually comes in a Ziploc bag, and this Ziploc bag is actually really useful. We could strap it to a tree to get some water, store things in there to keep them waterproof. That is a very good thing to have. Now because it's 24 hours, I don't feel like we need that, but if it was longer, I would put that in the pack. Now let's grab a good handful of those cotton wool balls and put them in. Next up, let's get some plasters. Now as you know, we went for the waterproof ones, so let's put 5 of those in. Now because we do have the cotton wool and the duct tape, I don't feel like we need that many plasters because we can utilize the duct tape and the cotton wool to put around a wound. But it's always nice to have a couple plasters for mosquito bites or little cuts. And talking about bigger cuts, let's get some of those bandages in there. So there's 2 in this box, so I reckon just 1 of those in the pack. Now let's get the travel sewing kit and see what this is like. Okay, so this actually feels really solid. Like, that is a very hard case that it's in. Now there is some gaps around the side, so I don't think it's waterproof, but you've got nice things in there. These tweezers are just so handy to have. Let's get those scissors out and see what they're like. That feels like literally like a mouse's scissors. They are very small. I can hardly get my thumb and finger in there. They're useful for just cutting the string, but I can't believe how they just broke. I can't believe how small they are. And then we've got some nice thread in there, so that will be good to sew anything up. Now that also fits very nicely in the kit. I do feel like we've gone a bit overboard with the cotton wool balls. I might take a few of those out. Okay, let's move on to the glowing sticks. Now like I said, these are great for finding your way back to camp. So if you go for a wander in the night, you can stick these in the ground and just find your way back. And they're just great for having a bit of light around, so you don't waste the battery of the head torch. Now there's 15 in here, and like I said, they last for 6 hours each. Green, yellow, orange, pink and blue. I just realized these won't actually fit in the pack, so we might have to put those in our pocket. Now I'm gonna grab 3 of these in different colors. Oh, I just snapped one, I think. Yeah, I did. It's glowing. There's a blue one there. And next up, we can put our head torch in there. Now let's see what those microfiber towels are like. There's 5 different ones, so we can just pick the best one. Now these are great for filtering water, for drying things and cleaning anything. So I want the best one. I'm just gonna hold this up to the light and see which one is the thickest. Well, that dust one's pretty thick. Yeah, the dust one is the thickest. Now I'm just gonna fold that up. I could even cut that down smaller if I needed. Let's put that in. Now it's definitely not going to rain tonight, but I have got a poncho to go in the kit if I wanted to. Now there's 2 in here and they are actually very good for keeping you dry. So let's move on to the tobacco tin. Now we can actually store some things in this and put it in the kit as well. And this comes with 50 papers as well. There's nothing actually in the tin, it's just empty. That's actually a really nice tin to have. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to ram all of those cotton wool balls into the tin. That way they're not flying about and I know exactly where they are. Duct tape. So I'm actually not going to put this in the kit itself. I'm going to wrap it around my lighter. Now you'd probably be doing a better job than what I'm doing right now, but as long as it's on there, doesn't really matter. And then we can get that, and I think we're going to put that in our pocket as well, just so we don't lose it. And last but not least, the food. Now we've got the mac and cheese here, and hopefully we can just fold that up and put it in there as well. Okay, so I've put everything in there the best I can, and I think that is a great survival kit. Now this tiffin pot actually came with 2 plates, but it's only me, so I'm only going to use one of those as a lid, and it also reduces the weight. And then put the lid down, and there we go, everything is fitted in that tin. In my previous video I didn't realise that it actually clips shut. I said we might have to use the string to clip it shut, but what an incredible piece of kit. And that was on offer for £3, reduced from £5, and it's completely stainless steel. So there we go, a Poundland survival kit, and we're going to be putting this to the test now. I'm just so happy that it clips shut. That is incredible. Now we do have the water, but that can just be on us. And we have the ground sheet as well that we can fold up and put in our pocket. Now before we go, I am going to neck all of this water because I'm starting to get a headache and it is very hot today. Now I'll just fill it up with the running water behind me. Yeah, I definitely needed that. So right here we've come across a birch tree. Now birch bark is so incredibly flammable, so we're going to put the Poundland knife to the test and just take off a few strips. Now I know there's not that much, but that should do to start a fire. So we'll store that away in the kit. There we go. So I've been walking for some time now, and I decided to wear my barefoot shoes. And I usually wear these boots with long socks, but today I decided to go for ankle socks, and they're rubbing against my lower leg. So I'm going to use one of the plasters in the kit just to stop it turning into a bad blister. So let's get one of those out. When you open this, you get a whiff of vanilla from those candles. I'll only need one of those. We got the waterproof ones, but it's not going to rain today. But it's good to have them in there in case it does rain in the future, or I fall in the puddle or something. You know, out of all the gear in the survival kit, the plaster was the least thing that I thought I'd be using, but turns out that we do need it. What are these plasters like? They're a little bit flimsy, but they'll do the job. Oh wow, that is actually quite bad. Okay, there we go, all bandaged up. I'm actually going to take this everywhere. This is pretty useful. I'm not going to lie, I am getting pretty hungry, so I really want that pasta. Okay, I think this is a good place to have a fire and cook the meal. So I'm going to scout around for some tinder and some logs and get a fire going. Now because it's been so hot and we haven't had that much rain, everything's just so dry, so yeah, there'll be no problem getting this fire going. Now I might set up camp here as well, but I just seen there's a massive badger set, I think, but it doesn't look in use. So in the night we might have some visitors to camp, and trust me, in pitch black, one of the scariest things is a hunched over badger. They look pretty intimidating. Now what's great as well is for seating, I can just deploy the ground sheet and there we go. We have a seat to sit on. Oh my gosh, I've become aware of just how many flies there are. So I want to hurry up and get this fire going so we can get rid of them. There is so many. I'm getting eaten alive, but I'm going to show you why we've got those cotton wool balls and the Vaseline. So let's get 2 cotton wool balls out and then the Vaseline. Oh, that's actually, oh my gosh. First of all, I'm actually going to cover my legs in Vaseline just because I want that extra barrier to stop the flies getting to my skin and the mosquitoes. Ah, oh, why didn't I think of that before? This kit is, yeah, I'm really happy with that. Okay, that should stop them being attracted to my legs. So with the cotton wool balls, what we're going to do is we're going to cover them in this Vaseline. Like that, and the other one, there we go. And now we have 2 fire starters. Now the only thing about this kit is if you want to use the pan itself, you have to tip everything out. So first of all, let's just get the birch bark out, and then we'll just put that there like that, and we'll put the cotton wool balls down, and then we'll get our tinder, which are these dry leaves. These go up like so fast. Now this is going to catch so quickly. So we've got our smaller sticks here and our bigger ones beside us just to feed the fire once it gets going. Where's the water? That was lucky. This is out of the river, so it does need boiling. So as you know, I got the water out of the river and I'm just looking and there's actually sediment in the bottom of the pan. Now the river wasn't the cleanest and I was just like, oh, it's only a bit of sediment, it shouldn't be too bad. But then I just realised we have a filter, we can literally filter it. So I'm going to put this back in the bottle and I'm going to test out what this filter's like. So I'm just going to put it over the bottle and just see if it comes out of there. Oh, it does. We can use it as like a pressure filter. Okay. And there we go, filtered water. So let's get these fire lighters lit and start this fire. Now those cotton wool balls should go up so quickly. Look at that, they're lit already. And now this is going to go up so quickly. There we go. Okay, let's get our lid on and get this boiled up. You take for granted how easy it is to start a fire in the dry compared to when it's raining. Wow, that really has put those flies away. Honestly, there were so many. Never seen so many in my life. Now I'm going to dry the filter next to the fire. I must say I'm thoroughly impressed by this tin. It's holding up really well and that water is nice and boiled now. So let's remove that and get our pasta and sauce. Mac and cheese, oh my gosh. So I'm actually going to pour some of this onto the plate. Oh, it actually all fits on that plate. And then I'm just going to add that water to it. Now it has got a little bit of sediment in it from the twigs that I was using to get the lid off. And then we can use our trusty Poundland fork and mix that all in. We can use the packet as tinder for the fire. Okay, the mac and cheese was taking way too long just to heat up on the plate. So I've put it back in the pan and next to the fire. And it seems to be boiling pretty well. Okay, that mac and cheese is all nice and soft now. So let's get that plated up. Okay, that pan did stick a tiny amount, but that's only where it was like directly near the flame. Okay then, it's time to try the mac and cheese. Ah, this moment of food is just so grateful. That cheese is nice and bitter. Yeah, it's almost a bit tangy. Okay, that sun's starting to set. Mac and cheese is all demolished. That rag is actually dry next to the fire, so we can use that again. Sleeping tonight is going to be pretty interesting because I haven't got a tarpaulin and a ground sheet. I've just got the ground sheet, so I might have to do like a bivvy, kind of like wrap it over me. Just literally, yeah, I'll probably just like wrap it over me. Like I said, it's gonna drop to 17 degrees in the night. That's literally like summer day in the UK. So, and in all honesty, I think I'm gonna actually sleep right here. This is the flattest part all around here, and I'm right next to the fire, so I can just keep adding logs to it, keeping the mosquitoes and the flies away while I'm sleeping. Washing up time. Now the only thing is, the actual box that everything goes in is the cooking pan, and it gets quite dirty and there's loads of stuff inside, so I really do need to clean this up. So let's just get all of that grime out of the inside and then use a bit of water, put in there, and this is where this rag can double up as a cleaning cloth and just get all of the inside nice and clean again. And this rag I can just clean in the river again, and then it'll be back to new. There we go, good as new. Okay, it's getting a bit dark, so it's time to use the head torch. Now this head torch is very powerful and it does disperse the light very nicely, and you can just see so much. So first what I'm going to do is put everything back in the survival kit box. And what's great is, because that rag that I put in there is sometimes damp, all of the fire starter is in the tin to keep nice and dry. So you don't have to worry about that. And there's less room in there now because I've ate the pasta, so everything just fits in there super nicely. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pile up as much leaves as I can to act as kind of like a mattress. But if I do that, I'm just going to disrupt all of the flies that are currently there, like I did what happened with the fire. Now there is a thick layer of ivy on this, so it is pretty soft. I mean, it's not like concrete. I don't think I'm going to take the risk and just clear all of this and make all those flies come up, so I'll just clear all of the uncomfortable hard twigs and then it should be fine. Now what's really good is the smoke is coming up here and I'll be laying here, so no flies or anything are going to come in to where I'm sleeping. So let's grab our ground sheet, put that down there, not too close to the fire. Now for the pillow, I'm just going to grab some leaves away from here and place them where my head is. Keep that fire going. Okay, I think that should do for a pillow. Let's test this out. Oh. That is actually surprisingly comfortable. Wow, this feels pretty amazing. I've never done this before. I've never slept completely out in the open, but it does feel pretty good. What I might do is start like this and then wrap it up like that. Yeah, that feels fine. I hope no one comes across this in the night, but that should be fine. That is actually a pretty nice insulator, just keeping any breeze off my legs, which is the exposed part because I'm wearing shorts. But anyway, I'll catch all of you in the morning. Good night. Good morning everyone. It's currently 5:30. I think I had around like an hour sleep, not even that, like maybe an hour. There's just so many like cracking twigs, and I think as well, when I have a fire, for some reason it just keeps me like really awake. I think the smoke or something has an effect where it just keeps you like wired. a bit like in caveman times. They were like, turn your fire off before 7 so you can sleep alright. Because it does really have an effect on me for some reason. Yeah, I've never slept like this before. And it is literally all mind games. You need to control your mind, otherwise you're not getting to sleep. And my shoulder hurts for some reason. Mosquitoes already. I've only just woken up. I think that was pretty good. Got the old survival tin here. So there you have it, the Charlie Survival Poundland Survival Kit. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Maybe you can go and make one yourself. They are really great. I would definitely keep this in the car. I hope you found this enjoyable. Head over to Equilor to get your hands on the hats that I'm releasing very soon. And as always, stay wild, subscribe if you're new to the channel, hit like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you then.